Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Tremblay, and I work at the Western Quebec School Board in the Complementary Services Department. And my job is to work with families and children in transitioning into kindergarten. And with me here today is my colleague, Andrea Shetler.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Shetler and I work at the Western Quebec School Board in Complementary Services Department. Like Stephen, I work with the family and with the school to help support children's transition into kindergarten. And today I will be presenting to you about the preschool education for 4-year-olds and how we can support our children's transition to school.
So typically at this time of year, Andrea and I would be going from school to school and working and meeting families and children at school orientation. But given where we are today, given COVID and what is happening, everything is happening online. So we're going to give you a bit of our presentation through this type of media. So really, Andrea and I are the role of a transition agent is really about sharing information and resources with families, working collaboratively with the school, the family, and if needed, community partners. And how we do that is we engage with the family starting from registration. And for those of you who have registered your child, you may have gotten a questionnaire called Getting to Know Your Child Better. And this provides valuable information to us and the schools about your child from your perspective. Don't worry if you haven't filled one out. We will be making them more available. And this questionnaire is general in just wanting to know to get your child and getting some information from you and sharing some experiences and concerns you may have and how we can best support your family and your child going into the school year. And how we do this is really with the child at the center, at the focus. So making sure the child enjoys and looks forward to going to school, and also for the family, the parents, to take a positive attitude towards school and their child's learning. And after that, we come to the community, the teacher, who creates a respectful environment in the classroom, who wants to build on the positivity and the new experience for the child going into school. So what does a positive transition look like? It really lays the foundations for future transitions. We know that throughout elementary school and high school, there's different transitions that a child will go to, and this is a really important one that we want to get right. It also impacts the child's motivation and commitment to school, and it also supports their school success. And through that, it provides us the opportunity and the school to develop a really good relationship at the beginning of the journey. And it's built upon the strong foundation that you have built with your child at home. So it's really about partnerships and really make this a positive transition for everyone. So what is going to be our focus a bit today? We're going to give you just a brief overview of what the preschool education program is for 4-year-olds, some of the areas of child development that are pertinent, some of the developmental milestones that are important, how to prepare your child for the school transition, how we can work together collaboratively, and other information and resources available for you online to read and get informed on. So the preschool education program is really intended to facilitate the child's global development. The program provides learning activities in all areas of development, and it prepares the children for the K-5 program that's in line with the Quebec Daycare program meeting the early childhood needs. And to go specifically into these areas of development, I'll turn it over to Andrea at this point.
So the preschool education program focuses on 5 areas of child global development. So we have the social development, language development, cognitive development, physical and motor development, and emotional development. What's important to remember is that while children go through the same stages of development, it's important to know that they do so in their own way and at their own pace. There is a natural development pathway for our children's growth and maturity, and as parents and as educators, we need to be patient and come alongside of our children in a supportive way. The 5 competencies, they represent specific areas of the child's global development while interconnected. So for physical and motor development, this area of development will continue to strengthen your child's physical and motor development. So in general, 4-year-olds, their fine motor skills are not well developed. They have a strong interest in exploring and manipulating objects. And it's important to remember that fine motor skills, they're essential for performing everyday skills like self-care tasks, such as clothing fastenings, being able to open their lunch boxes, using cutlery, and also for academic skills like pencil skills for drawing, coloring, as well as cutting and pasting. Also, in general, they're still developing their personal hygiene habits for like going to the bathroom and washing their hands, and they need a lot of physical activity such as running and jumping and climbing. Gross motor skills are important to enable children to perform everyday functions such as walking, running, skipping, as well as even playground skills for climbing and throwing and catching. These are crucial for everyday self-care skills like getting dressed. When your child is having to put on their snowsuit in the wintertime, being able to balance on one foot while putting their other foot into their snowsuit. So to support your child's transition to school, having your child practice motor skills such as getting themselves dressed, clothing fastenings, and practicing opening different items in their lunchbox will help your child's transitions during the school day. Here are some examples of fine motor activities that you can practice at home with your child. So activities involving threading and lacing, just using a variety of different size laces and beads, having your child make their own necklace, tongs and tweezers for sorting objects. As you can see in this slide, there's a little girl using tongs to pick up blocks and to place it aside, being able to construct something. Play-Doh for cutting, rolling, forming it into objects. And if you notice that your child's cutting skills can be challenging, Play-Doh is a great way to develop these skills, and it's an easy and a fun way as well. And also manipulating games such as pick-up sticks. These are great activities because developmentally, we know that our children's fine motor skills at this stage are still developing. And these activities, they're great to enhance finger strength and to help also to build a child's confidence and prompting responsibility and autonomy. So sometimes children can become disengaged in fine motor skills if they find it to be too difficult. So continuing to practice these skills early will support your child in this area. So for gross motor activities, some examples include hopscotch. So just games like hopscotch is a great activity because they encourage direct skill practice. Simon Says for body awareness and movement planning. We have a fun activity like the wheelbarrow walking. This is a great activity for postural and trunk control. Unstable surfaces is always a fun activity for kids, just getting them to walk over unstable surfaces, placing out pillows. It increases the child's overall body strength. Obstacle courses is a great activity because it combines lots of gross motor skills into one practice. And of course, a playground, which is fun for climbing and swinging. Again, children having practice and experience these activities at home will help them just feel confident and to perform everyday functions. So for emotional development, in general, 4-year-olds, they're learning the important skills of controlling their emotions, and they need adults to help find their words to express and describe their feelings instead of reacting in a physical way, and they're prone to frustration and aggression. And this area of development, it builds upon a child's their self-confidence through their engagement and positive experiences and just getting to explore their autonomy. And it also builds on a child's self-knowledge by recognizing their own personal characteristics and beginning to express and regulate their emotions. It's important to remember that emotional development is still occurring and that children at this age, they require adults to help regulate their emotions. Here's an excerpt from Dr. Deborah McNamara's book, Rest, Play, Grow, Making Sense of Preschoolers. It speaks to the emotional development and maturity of our preschoolers. So they're prone to frustration and aggression. So parts of the brain that's responsible for putting on the brakes and preventing a child from lashing out when frustrated are still under development in preschoolers. They're prone to aggression when upset, and they need adults close by that could step in and help them regulate their strong emotions. So due to a child's development, especially for children under the age of 5, their reactions can be rather impulsive. And again, for the reason for this is because part of the brain that's responsible for self-control, it's still developing. And preschoolers, they can only hold on to one thought or feeling at a time, and they're unable to see more than one point of view. So this can explain, as I'm sure all of us could relate to, everything feels like such a big deal for them. What's most important for us adults to remember is just preserving the relationship that we have with our children just through lots of love and patience and allowing them to express their feelings whenever possible. Children, they need to experience pure emotions such as if they're feeling angry or if they're feeling sad. And we need to have faith that eventually their hits and stomps, they will be able to eventually use their words to express how they're feeling. So a child's emotional development, it can also be developed and expressed through play. So Dr. Deborah McNamara, she explains that play is where emotions, they're released and expressed. And when children are having a difficult time, play can really reflect what they're struggling with. Sometimes, even for adults, our emotional systems, they become overloaded, and play for anyone is a safe place to release those emotions. So some examples of play include building and creating. So this is where a child can create something out of Lego, for example, and this is where they could find solutions to their own problems. And fine motor skills and quiet activities where they're able to manipulate and use different textures, and this can be a calming activity for children when they're feeling upset. And also drawing and painting is a great outlet for one's emotions because it doesn't require any words. Children can just focus on the process of what they're doing and not on the outcome. And role play, dress up, this is always a fun activity for kids, and it's a safe place to release that emotional energy that they may have and just to internalize their own understanding of the world. So in this area of social development, it focuses on children maintaining harmonious relationships with others and developing their social skills and sense of belonging. Dr. Deborah McNamara, she explains how social development can also be linked to a child's play, and it's through play that a child will develop from initial independent play to partial play near others, and finally interactive play with others. So it's important for children to have freedom of their own play in order to support this progression. As parents, we need to reserve time from play which is essentially time that's set aside from structured activities, from competitive activities, and even from activities involving play with peers and siblings. And this is when children will be ready to develop social skills and learning how to share with other children and how to be sensitive to other people's emotions and needs. So social development for children is an ongoing process, and we can't expect children to be ahead of where they currently are. We need to just be patient and mindful and help support them in this area. This excerpt taken from Dr. McNamara, it highlights how preschoolers may not be developmentally ready to see another person's perspective or even consider another person's feelings. But again, it's the role of us adults to help guide them through this process. For language development, in this area, it focuses upon children's understanding and expressing themselves just through written and spoken language. So the emphasis here is on exploration and developing curiosity, interest, and enjoyment in language development. And although parents, we naturally sometimes worry about a child's academic readiness for school, developmental readiness we must take this more into consideration. And as previously mentioned, we know that children all develop at different rates. And so, for example, a child may not be academically where another child is at in terms of reading ability, but what they are developing is really an underlying enjoyment and lifelong love of books. Their reading skills will then continue to develop. So here's a demonstrative video to anchor some of the points that I want to share.
90% of a child's brain capacity develops before age 5. By age 3, a child's brain has formed 3 quadrillion connections. This period of rapid mental growth is the best time for children to learn skills for early reading success. Caregivers can help young children develop early literacy skills by using these 5 practices developed by early childhood experts. 1. Read. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends reading to children for 20 minutes each day. 2. Sing. Singing is an enjoyable way for children to learn the sounds that make up words. 3. Talk. Have back and forth conversations with words or actions. 4. Play. Playing fosters imaginative, flexible, and symbolic thinking. 5. Write. Writing encourages fine motor skill development, including holding writing utensils. Look for times to work these 5 practices into your daily routine, like diaper changing time, bedtime, car rides, bath time, or getting dressed. Just a few minutes each day of intentional skill building can help the children in your life be ready to read. Visit herrickdl.org/early literacy for more information on these 5 literacy practices.
So moving on to cognitive development. In this area of cognitive development, it involves their reasoning, thinking, understanding, and their understanding is mostly learned through play and imitation and exploring in order to discover the world around them. Children, they learn responsibilities through adult modeling and expectation, and some examples of activities which can help develop their responsibility may include just having your child sort through laundry, fold laundry, set the table, prepare food. And as parents, we could also support a child's cognitive development by asking questions to determine causes, solve problems, being able to clarify their understanding of something, and to support their memory development by helping them just learn daily routines, for example, or the location of toys and objects. Support a child's understanding of number concepts by asking a child, is this more? Do you have more than your brother or less than your brother? And also just around the order of numbers and quantities. And help to understand classification by helping them categorize, sort, group objects. And here's a short video showing just a fun way to stimulate cognitive development, focusing on sorting and grouping. Just to reiterate what I was saying at the beginning of this presentation, it's just really important to for us to remember as adults, parents, even educators, just to keep in mind that all children develop at a different rate, and it's our job just to be patient and accepting, encouraging, and compassionate. Next, Stephen will summarize today's presentation and will share with you some resources that might be of interest to you.
So just a quick overview. The preschool education program for 4 years old really facilitates the global development of the child and provides activities throughout their development. Children all go through the same developmental stages, but like Andrea mentioned, it's all at their own pace. And it's really important for all participants, the families, the schools, the communities, to work together in order for the children to adapt to school and experience a sense of well-being and success. And for us, it provides a really good opportunity for transition agents to help families and children who may need extra support in accessing information, resources, and support. So we've listed additional resources here. These you can go on your own. You can go on the website and really link yourself to the online aspect of it because of the situation we're in. But Andrea and I are also available to all schools at the Western Quebec School Board. So we can be reached via telephone and via email to further discuss this. And when it comes to support services, it's really important now with the K4 program that if you're seeing some difficulties or some worries, that we try to work with them together early on, even before school starts. So for example, you can call the Child Development Program at the CIS, and it's through calling the 811 portal service. And this is something we can support you with if you have further questions or you need further information. And these are examples like if you have your child might have difficulties with academic learning or motor learning, or you notice your child doesn't speak or understand as well as other children, or you just have general worries, it's really good to speak with us or to speak to the school on potential services or potential help. And we're here to facilitate that. So we're really here to engage with you and the families if it's you feel that it's something that's needed, or even if that we need to know it before your child starts school so we have a good understanding of who your child is and what they may need. Here's the information for Andrea and I. Andrea and I each support different schools throughout the Western Quebec School Board, but we're happy to do any follow-up meeting or call or email that you may have. So I just really wanted to take the opportunity today to thank everyone who's joined in and looked at this. And again, please feel free to communicate with us if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.